Hi guys, I hope you are well. Welcome to the next lesson. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that is so important. Before you start trading, you need to have the fundamentals in place. That is absolutely vital. You cannot skirt around the corners with this. If you want to become a successful trader, everything you do has to be in the right framework. Everything you do has to be planned thoughtfully. This isn't about pressing buy and sell. We're going to park this for the moment. Everything around it has to match up together because this is you setting something up which is going to create a legacy for you, your friends, your family, your loved ones, the generations of family that aren't even born yet. This is how big this is. So without critical planning, you will be going into this completely blind. I want you to look at what this first says. Trading career essentials. Career. This is your trading career. So you need to set up your trading business. I have heard too many people not refer to this as a business. Let me tell you, this is a vital business. This is not a side hustle. This is a business and a damn successful one you're going to build. If you think about people out there who have made millions and millions of dollars, they would have done that via setting up a business plan because they've set up a multi-million pound business, multi-million pound dollar business. You guys are setting up a multi-million dollar business. That is the aim. That is the essential movement towards where you're looking to go with this. So you need to set your business up. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to do your taxes. I'm not going to set up your accounts for you or anything like that. I am not that type of an advisor. I'm not going to get involved in your financials. This is purely education. You understand that. But you have to set up your business. You have to understand that. Set your trading business up. You need to construct a trading plan. Now, the good thing is we're going to do that for you. Okay, that's part of your onboarding process. But you will be able to take that plan because your plan will change and we're not going to be there to hold your hands forever because at one point you're going to be very consistent. We're going to hold your hands until you're consistent. But when you maybe get a year down the line and you are trading with your own capital consistently and profitably, you need to tweak your plan depending on how your life works at that particular point. Your trading plan has always got to be at the center of your mind because it's one of the most important things you have to consider. Finding your edge within the markets. Now, luckily, again, we are going to teach you the best edge within the markets. That is why I'm here. I'm here to show you how I trade. Within that as well, the funny thing, or not the funny thing, I should say, the one of the more unique things about this is you will probably find an edge with my edge, if that makes sense. It's hard to explain right now what I mean by that, but I think by the end of this program, you will completely understand what I mean. You need to develop your trader's mindset. This is going to require you to think differently to everyone you know. Nobody is going to think the way you think once you are finished with this program. There's probably a high chance that people don't think the way you think right now, which is why you're here, improving your life. But you have to develop a trader's mindset and you have to think like a multi-million dollar trader. That is what you are now. You're not there in terms of the financial side yet, but that is where you are pushing yourself towards being. Acquiring funding. This is something I'm, again, going to be personally helping you with because if you're looking to go down the funded route, I'm going to support you on that. We're going to wait until you are at the position when you're ready on this 12-week program. And then we are going to provide you with the funded account. And then essentially, you're going to be ready to go. And then we're going to teach you how to do the rest of it. If you get to the stage where you're not quite ready to do your funded account, don't worry. We're not going anywhere. We're still going to be there to hold your hand until you are in a position to get funded. This is about getting you in and out and funded and consistently profitable. And then scaling as well is something I'm going to cover because this is a very important topic within the trading industry. How do you make more money? How do you scale and make more money from different accounts, multiple accounts? Do you want multiple personal accounts? Do you want multiple funded accounts? Do you want a mixture of both? I've got separate plans this year compared to what I had last year. Last year, I traded on personal accounts, but this year, I'm looking to take more advantage of the funded accounts as well because funded accounts, if you get the rules right, and I'm going to help you how to get the rules right, but if you get it right with them, you are going to be acquiring capital without spending any of your own money. And that is very, very unique. And there are not many opportunities with that. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. And then you will be in the best position placed to make your own decision. Learning to trade versus mindset. The important thing to understand is that they come hand in hand. In order to make consistent profits, you need to develop a certain mindset. Trading is going to take a great deal of patience, and this industry can make you broke quicker than it can make you rich. I want you to understand those very words. If you come into this industry with the wrong mindset and you ignore everything I'm saying and you put live funds into an account straight away and you start trading it, you are essentially a gambler working at a 50-50 rate of something not going in your favor. If you become obsessed to the sort of point where you are in a position where you need to acquire the funds because you're looking to pay bills quicker or you've got bills coming up that you're worried about, you're going to essentially over leverage. We can't allow you to do that. This is something we need to understand with regards to the mindset and the development of understanding patience within the market, because your opportunity in the market isn't going to be there necessarily every single day, or it will be there every day, but the highest quality setup may not be there every day. And that's what you have to get to grips with understanding. And with that in mind, it is essential, and I mean this because there's a lot of stigma and opinion about this out there. It is essential to me, in my opinion, that you learn on a demo account until you are consistent within the markets. We can talk about live account trading on small accounts to help with the psychological aspect of trading. But for the purpose of this education, the purpose of when you're doing the calls with my coaching staff, with regards to when we look at your trading journals and things like that, we are going to want to see that you're on a demo account. We do not want to come to you and find out that you've been risking live capital and you're losing live capital. That is not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to protect you. So what's going to protect you is learning on a demo account. The best thing about a demo account is you're not emotionally attached financially. You are just practicing. When we come to the stage where we are ready, then we will attack that at that point. But let's just take small baby steps for now. This will work if you follow the process. And if you follow the simple rules, the steps, put in the work, dedicate yourself, then the only way you will fail is if you quit. I said that it's one of my favorite phrases on the planet. The only way you will fail is if you stop trying. I cannot stress any of this enough. Trading is not a get rich quick scheme. Like anything, this is going to take time. But once you are there, it can give you as much financial freedom as you desire. A good example of this is I'm currently in the process, very beginner stages, of learning how to fly a plane. Only one of the little ones. But the requirement, and I've had one or two lessons, but the requirement is essentially I have the lessons. I'm paying for the lessons of an instructor. Now, I picked up the mechanical side of it pretty quickly. However, before I can fly on my own without an instructor there, I need to acquire 10,000 hours pilot lessons. It's not going to take me 10,000 hours to learn it, but it's going to make me so good to the point where I earn the trust from my instructor to fly a plane on my own. That is the key difference that you have to understand. It's the same with regards to driving a car. A lot of you here probably drive a car. When you do your driving lessons, you maybe do 20, 30 hours worth of lessons. Then you do your test, you pass your test. Now, let me tell you, when you pass your driving test, you're probably nowhere near as good at that point as opposed to you are now, maybe years down the line of having a driver's license. If you drove from A to B today, yesterday, the day before, think about how you actually got there. How many traffic lights did you stop at? How many people did you give way to? How many times did you have to put your foot on the brakes just to get back down to the speed limit? You probably couldn't tell me those things, but I trust in your ability as a driver that you did do all of those things because it is muscle memory in your head. The same applies to trading. I'm going to give you all the information you need. I'm going to give you everything. I'm not going to hide anything. I'm not going to gatekeep anything. I'm going to get you to where you need to be. And then essentially, this time element is going to take over. You're going to get experience. And once you are there, trading is like no other because it pays you an unlimited amount of money and it will allow you freedom to do as you wish. You need to create a routine within this industry because this is a business. Full-time or part-time, this is still a business. Even if you're working right now, you've just created another business. Congratulations, you are an entrepreneur. Doesn't mean you have to be rich to be an entrepreneur. You are an entrepreneur because you are already creating a routine. So many people that I've spoken to that have stumbling blocks as traders. A good example of this is someone who has shift work, for example, and can only do certain hours within the week. And they have shift work at sporadic times. But you have to understand, your work has to understand you have a week in advance to plan everything. You'll know what your shifts are like for the week. You'll know if you are doing the school run with your kids that you can't trade in the morning. You'll know that you can't trade in the afternoon if you have to pick the kids up from school. But there is a period of time where you can trade. I have to trade in the New York AM session because in the morning during the London session when I would like to trade, my house is full on with kids, barking dogs, the lot. Once the kids are at school, everything just flows how I want it to flow. The house is quiet. No one's here. The office is empty. And suddenly I can trade. So the New York AM session for me is the best time to trade. And I do that every day. Or when there's not high impact news. But it's important you establish when you're going to learn how to trade. How many hours are you going to prioritize every night to do this? How many hours on a Saturday morning, a Sunday morning? Without giving up your complete life for this, I'm not asking you to fall asleep at the keyboard, but I'm asking you to put the understanding into this that you need to create a routine. So there's 4 pillars of becoming a profitable trader. The trading edge, which once again we are going to be covering. The psychology, which again we're going to be covering. The risk management, which of course we're going to be covering. And then the big one, which surrounds the whole thing. Without it, none of the other 3 will work. And that is your persistence. Like I said, the only way you are not going to make it in this industry is if you quit. It is literally that simple. Now, I love this image, and I actually got this from the website, which is attached down there. I don't credit to making this at all. But this image is so good because without all 4 of them, it cannot stand as a 4. And it is so important to understand that, yes, there's a skill in the markets with the trading edge, but without the understanding of risk management, you may as well not be in here. Without the understanding of psychology, you are a dead man or woman walking. So we have to understand the pillars and what it is actually going to take from you in this industry. So print this off if you can and have this, or don't print it off, but have it somewhere close to you. Maybe your back wallpaper on your computer. Somewhere you can refer to this. Because this is generally, I think, one of the most powerful images there is to make you realize this is not just a 1-pillar activity. We're going to require 4 pillars: persistence, risk management, trading edge, psychology. So we need to develop your 7-figure mindset. Getting to 7 figures as a trader is not going to be as hard as you think. Trust me. Trust me. Battle your fears, your doubts. That should say doubts, not doubles. Your doubts, your insecurities. I am dyslexic, by the way, just in case you see some of these spelling mistakes. Judgments from others is such a big one. Judgment from others is such a big one because nobody understands what you're doing, and it makes them feel uncomfortable. And even when you've made it, it still will make them feel uncomfortable because you're going to propel yourself levels above what they can only dream of being, but you are the ones that were brave enough to take that original leap. So that is for you very, very powerful. Think differently. Think differently to everyone that is out there. You will get what you put in. I can absolutely promise you. Because you thinking differently will allow yourself to be different. And there's no other way around it because this way society is. Everyone thinks the same. Everyone's trained, programmed to be exactly the same. So you have to be thinking differently. You have to think outside the box. And I promise you, this will all come into place and you will achieve everything you've ever wanted to achieve. Your work ethic towards life. Okay, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Routine, once again, comes into this. This for me, trading in general, has generally made me, and it will make you the best version of myself and yourself. I am in a place where my emotions and everything around it, my attitude, everything is just on top of the world. And I'm not telling you to get up at 4:30 in the morning and have an ice bath. I'm not telling you any of that stuff. What I am saying is this whole persona of learning how to trade is going to turn you into a beast of a human being. Nothing is going to stop you. Nothing. And how you are with work, because a lot of people say, oh, I want to learn to trade and that's it. No, you won't. You will want to do more because you're going to have time to scale. Trading is the beginning for you. Trading is the foundation to your general wealth as you build a legacy for your family and your friends. That is how powerful you're going to become. And with that requires you to be professional, to understand how it works. And this is going to turn you into the best version of you. So whatever other goals you've got in life, because you're going to develop this as a trader, you're going to get there. You're going to get there. So your why is very, very important because this is essentially going to answer everything you need into understanding why you are going to do what you're going to do. If you don't understand why, and I don't think you're in that position, I think you're going to have a why. What is your goal? Why are you here? Why have you invested into this program? What do you want to do and why? You need to know the answers to these questions. For me, it's my kids. I've got 2 little girls. I do everything I do for my family. I want to give them the best life possible. I want to give them the best opportunity possible. I want to create a legacy, not just for them, but for my future grandchildren, for my future great-grandchildren. I want my name to be known in 100 years' time, where there are members of my family that will never meet me. And I want them all to be okay. I want them all to be sorted before they're born. And I want to have an impact on the world where I did my small bit to make it better before I leave it. And everything I do is driven towards the success of people that deserve it. That's my why. But predominantly the main focus around that whole thing is stemmed with the motivation that is my 2 little girls. I would do anything for them. And my success is going to be their success. Don't get me wrong. You may be in this industry thinking about the cars, the houses, the holidays, not saying you're not to enjoy those things. But why are you here? What is your why? Understand, I want you to write down what your why is and have that in front of you wherever you are. This is such an important factor because everyone's at different stages in their life. And that is going to be what essentially is going to drive you to these things. For me, creating a legacy that grows beyond me is something that I'm so, so passionate about. And I will never get to where I want to be because every time I get there, my goal will become even bigger. Now, mistakes come hand in hand, but your personal growth, and you learn from your mistakes, but you will fast track your personal growth by making less mistakes. And the less mistakes you're going to make is what you have learned in this video. This is what is going to be the key determination. If you're still here now watching this video, I know you're committed. Because now you're taking this seriously. Again, congratulations, you're an entrepreneur. So there is a process to 6-7 figure accounts. And again, like I said at the start, it's not that difficult to get to. There is a way to do it. First things first is trust the process. You're not going to win every trade. You're not. There's no way you're going to win every trade. But you're not trying to win every trade. You're not trying to be right every time. I'm not interested in entering the markets to be factually correct on my bias every single time. I don't want to be. I don't need to be. If you're that person, you're in for a rough ride. Don't be that person. Trust the growth capabilities. Scale into those numbers, like I've said. Really not hard. It's everything else that comes around it. But because it's so easy, makes it so hard for some people to comprehend. Don't worry if you have no money to start with. Money will arrive when you gain the experience. And that, like saying that, people find it hard to believe. Because the truth is, to make the most money in trading, you need the most money. There's no two ways about it. If you're here with £1,000 on an account, or even £5,000 on an account, or even £20,000 on an account, you need more money. But you don't need any money to start with, because I'm going to teach you how to get around all of the different things if you don't have the capital to start with. You don't need large capital because you have the idea and you have the route down towards funded accounts, which is this one here, funding challenges. And there's no two ways about it. This is harder in terms of managing capital because there are rules in place. Now, there is a stigma around funded prop firms, which I'm going to talk to you about fully. But if you can navigate your way around them and follow the rules, which are in place to ensure that you are a responsible trader, you can make 7 figures from funded challenges. And like we said, we're going to fund your first one. We're going to fund your first one after this program. Understand compounding. Compounding is easily the fastest and best way to generate wealth. Investing and compounding, they are the fastest ways to generate wealth. And I'm going to teach you all about it as well. So hopefully you found this lesson insightful. As I say, we're not on the charts right now, but we will be. But this is very, very important information before we do anything. But I hope you guys found some value in this. And with that, I will see you on the next one.